Hi, I'm Ashley Cook-Cox, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my culture. So the first two items I have is this shirt. It says Lakeside Eagles. And then the second one, which is a picture of my family. They're all so beautiful. So I grew up in a small town outside of Spokane, Washington called 9 Mile Falls. I went to the same school district from kindergarten to through senior year called Lakeside. And throughout my whole schooling career, I went to school with predominantly Caucasians, middle class, wealthy. It was right on the lake, so we had lots of people with like $1 million homes. So quite a few people were pretty wealthy. And throughout my whole schooling career, I probably went to school with maybe 4 half African American students and then probably 2 Samoans. So it wasn't very diverse at all throughout my school. I never really thought much of it. It was a pretty small area, only 500 kids in my high school. But my family, my aunts and uncles, I had African American family members and cousins, so I was always around them, which I didn't really think about that much. But, so I showed you a picture of my family, but that's not all my family. My mom and my dad got in a divorce when I was about 2 or so. So here's a picture of me and my dad. I hope you can see that. Just like pardon my short hair, but so my dad and my mom, my sister and I moved over to Ohio for a couple years when we were babies, and once they split, my mom moved back to Washington and my dad stayed in Ohio, in Cincinnati, southern Ohio. Now he lives in Kentucky. But throughout my schooling, kindergarten through probably about my last couple of years of high school, we would go over to Ohio for a month every summer and spend a full month with him. And that was really eye-opening now that I look back on it, because one, the Cincinnati area, let alone, has so many more people than 9 Mile Falls or Spokane. And it's a lot more like ethnically diverse there. There are a lot more African Americans, like what I remember from when I realized this, and there was just so many more people there. And so another huge thing I realized when I went over there, especially my dad being over there for a long period of time, was that they are a lot more nicer over there than they are here. They would refer to me as Miss Ashley, my sister as Miss Jocelyn. They'd say pardon a lot. Like, they were really southern hospitality mindset, and it was different going from Spokane to Cincinnati, because it was just so different. Like, I guess you could not be rude, but you could kind of act differently in Spokane, but it really wouldn't fly that way in Cincinnati. But the way you act in Cincinnati might be looked at as kind of weird in Spokane, so that was kind of different growing up. And I always thought, like, people here are a lot more nicer, and my dad, not that my dad was ever mean, but like my dad acts a lot like how they do here, and so like he adapted to the culture there, and I think it's really cool. When I go back, I kind of realize more and more each time, and I really love that side of the country. So then my next phase in life, so after I go through high school, visiting my dad, staying in Spokane, my next prop is my NNU hat, and so I came to NNU to play soccer and to be in the nursing program. I made it into the nursing program, but I didn't want to do it, so now I'm an education major. Awesome. But NNU, even though it's so small and they say it's not diverse, it is very diverse to me, especially from what I grew up in. And it might sound crazy, but I never talked to a Hispanic or someone of that till I got to NNU. Like, being a part of the women's soccer team, I got to be really close to the men's soccer team. And my freshman year, there were a lot of Hispanics on the team, and like Jaime, Julio, like those were some of my really good friends. And crazy as it is, like, this school isn't big, but it's big enough for me to be a little more exposed to different cultures. Like, I have a couple teammates, one's from New Zealand, one's from the Czech Republic, and to me, that's huge. To other people it might be small, but like that was kind of my beginning of getting introduced to different cultures, and those people are my really good friends, and I don't think anything differently of them. But so my next prop is this sombrero. I hope I'm wearing it right. Yes, I am. So this is my boyfriend's family's. My boyfriend actually is Hispanic. His family is from Mexico. They grew up in Guadalajara. His mom and his biological dad. They came to America, and his biological dad's no longer in the picture, but his mom is, and they let me borrow this. And so coming into college my freshman year, not even talking to a Hispanic until I got here, and then second semester dating one, it has really opened my eyes, especially being around him and his mom a lot. All they talk is in Spanish mostly, and I do not know Spanish, but I enjoy sitting and listening to them, trying to figure out what they're saying, even though I don't ever really know what they're saying. But one thing I have really found amazing is how his family treats each other compared to how I've seen families interact. For example, when we go to get-togethers with everyone, you walk in the house and you shake everyone's hand, no matter how many people are there. If you know them, if they don't know them, typically it's all family anyway, but you shake their hand and you say hi to them. And that seems simple, but where I came from in my family, you walk into a party and you just say, hey everyone, and that's kind of it. Whereas him, you go around and shake their hand and say, hola, how are you? And I think it's really, really cool. And they are so family oriented, and it's really giving me a new perspective on how important family is, and just looking someone in the eyes and saying, how are you doing, and taking your time just to say hi to them has been really cool. And I really have learned a lot from him and his mom, especially his mom, because my boyfriend was born and raised in America, and like I said, his mom was born in Mexico, so I love learning more about her journey here, her getting her American citizenship. So that's been really, obviously, a big part of my life since freshman year, but it's also just really opened my eyes to what other people in the country might be going through, and just how different families work, and it's been a really, really cool experience. So I'll take that off. And then my next prop is this maraca, and then this flag from Trinidad and Tobago, and then this little maraca says Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So through NNU, this last summer in 2016, our soccer team went to Trinidad and Tobago for about a week or so and got to play some soccer games and just got embedded to the culture. And that was my first time out of the country. And if you don't know where Trinidad's located, it's located on the tip of South America by Venezuela. And Trinidad and Tobago, they're two different islands, but they're one country. Okay, I learned that while I was there. Super cool. But that was my first time out of the country. I was so nervous going through customs, all that kind of stuff, just new people, but it was a really, really cool experience, and it was interesting just to hear what other countries think about Americans, and just ask them about their family and just how everything works with them and their transportation, their communication. It was so amazing and so interesting, and this is only got this fire started in me to want to start traveling more. And this is one of the coolest experiences ever, especially being able to play soccer and doing it through NNU. And I was so grateful for the people I met there and the experiences I got. And so I'm really excited to travel. So Trinidad and Tobago has placed the spark in my heart to travel more. And my last prop, which is going to be so lame because I didn't know how else to show how I've traveled a lot in the United States besides a map of America, okay? If you haven't seen one of those before, that is the map of the United States on my iPad. So through my dad is, or he was, an air marshal, which is a police officer on the plane that, typically they're on planes, to make sure no terrorists are on it and that kind of stuff. So he started doing that after 9/11, and then he just retired from doing that about a year ago. But through that, he gets a lot of traveling miles and stuff. So with him and all those miles, me and my sister got to travel a lot with my dad. So I've been all over the country. I've been to New York City. I've been to Nashville, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Des Moines, Minneapolis. I can't remember where I was in Florida, but I know I went there. North Dakota, South Dakota. I went to Seattle. I've been to Los Angeles, San Diego, and so I've been to all these places. And so I've been exposed to the different cultures that the East Coast versus the West Coast has, and the North versus the South has, and the middle of the country has, and it has really opened my eyes to, one, how amazing people are, and two, how different we are, and how when I'm in Florida, that culture is normal. When I'm in Los Angeles, that culture is normal, and I think that is so cool. I think being able to meet different people, greet different people is truly something really awesome. And I love to travel. One of my favorite places I traveled was New Orleans in Louisiana because my aunt used to live there, and I love the people there. I love their accents. I love the friendliness people in New Orleans had. Like, you really felt like you were part of their family there, and just those different type of values or feelings that I got from different places I've traveled has really, I actually counted how many states I've been to before I did this. Although I've only been to 27, that's still a lot for it considering how young I am, and that a lot of that traveling has happened even before I've been to college. So I love to travel. I went to Trinidad and I can't wait to travel outside the country, but I do love to travel inside the country just because we're all Americans and I love to see how everyone functions and how everyone interacts with one another, and it truly is amazing to be able to travel and just see what everyone's all about. So that's all about me and my culture. I'm still pretty young, so I hope my culture changes, I get influenced by different things so I can have a broader perspective of the world that I live in. So, thank you.